Hello once again everyone and welcome back. I am your host Natty and this is Nat Reviews, the series where I take a look at a random piece of media and give my thoughts on it. Anyone remember the Warped Tour? It was a traveling music festival that really became monstrously huge by the early to mid 2000s. It was, in its prime, attended by hundreds of thousands of teens all clamoring to get their fix on the various genres of rock that were growing in popularity at the time. By 2004, it was leaning towards the pop-punk subgenre, as by then, pop-punk was king. Today's artist, Avril Lavigne, never did perform at the Warped Tour, but due to her pop-punk inspired ways, she wouldn't be too far from the sort of acts that would play the festival. Today, we'll be taking a look at Avril Lavigne's My Happy Ending and the not-so-happy ending of the pop-punk genre. It was 2004. The Warped Tour was king amongst the music festivals catering to rock of the time. Avril Lavigne was coming off the huge success of her debut album, and the pop-punk scene that had been building for years in the underground of California was at its peak. Acts like Green Day, among others, had been building steam since their breakout in the mid-90s, and were all geared up to release a pinnacle of mid-2000s pop-punk, American Idiot. It seemed that the genre couldn't get any bigger. The skater scene that came attached to both the genre and the tour had been growing exponentially. Avril Lavigne even released the hit Skater Boy and featured that scene regularly in her videos of her first album. It was now 2 years for Avril. She had come fresh off of touring and it was time to release another album. This is where My Happy Ending comes in. In 2004, Avril released Under My Skin, an album written and produced by non-professionals, yet a huge hit, detailing many thoughts and experiences Avril had had since her first album, including a lot about her relationships or dating. It was on this album where My Happy Ending comes from, a song that one critic described as Lavigne herself sounds more burdened. The skater boy of the first album has turned out to be a selfish, nasty creep who treats her like crap. The song is a song that has clear themes from the scene of the era, but is mainly a song that discusses the breakup of a relationship. It sort of is the precursor of Katy Perry's The One That Got Away, describing how the relationship was going so well. The protagonist felt so close to the lover and thought that the relationship would never fail, but ultimately it did. Now, in her post-breakup emotional rage, she belts out in a powerful number that builds in energy as the song goes, delivering the emotional message as well. It is very much pop-punk inspired, but also ballad influenced at the same time. Usually, I would talk about the video of a song here, but I don't have much to say on this one. Avril watches scenes of her and her lover on a big screen in a cinema, as the memories go from bright and cheery, full of color, to draining of color and slipping to the tearing apart of the relationship. How it's interpreted is up to the viewer, as Avril mentioned in interviews, so take it how you will. Certainly a creative idea of a video. You can see it in full following the link below. What I wish to mention was, videos around this time got major airplay on places like MTV's TRL among other places. And because music videos were these huge events and gained many artists' popularity for their songs, I wonder where that magic went. Like sure, YouTube came up soon after, but music video releases aren't as big as they once were. Oftentimes, music videos aren't even that well put together or hardly match the song they correspond to. It feels that the art of the music video is on a transition to a new breed. Doesn't make it bad, I just noticed a trend as of late. And before we talk about rock's downward trend, let's take a look at my overall thoughts on the song, shall we? Conclusion. My thoughts overall? I think Avril delivers a powerful vocal delivery on the song that matches well with her emotions and the instrumental backing. The pop-punk energy is massive and backs up the emotional turmoil Avril is feeling. It too, like Kelly Clarkson's own breakup song, Since You've Been Gone, is a song that, despite being personal and about a breakup, is one you can jam out to vent out your own emotions too. I do think the song is great. Gets a solid A from me. Do I look forward to more from the artist? I will admit, growing up, I did not often listen to Avril other than the big hits of the time, like Complicated Girlfriend and this song. But I do think she has quite a talent vocally. She has a power to her voice not many have. I have heard she is making some new music lately. I may indeed look into it if I ever get the time. I am certainly interested. Now, from the beginning, I mentioned Warped Tour and there being a decline of pop punk. Well, I am not wrong. Warped Tour itself is now over, finishing up touring in 2018, but also making a one-off event in 2019 for the 25th anniversary. But the Warped Tour as we know it is over. Its peak was around 2005 to 2006 when it drew in its biggest crowds. That was also subsequently around the same time pop punk began its vanishing from the charts. Bits and pieces of its influence are still felt today in some SoundCloud rap, just as the Warped Tour lives on in festivals like Coachella among others. Pop punk peaked around the mid-2000s. American Idiots and other albums of the same genre became huge hits, but like with any genre, it would soon have to fade. Other styles came up and rose around the same time. There just wasn't space for the Blink-182s, Sum 41s, and Simple Plans of the world anymore. Sure, the groups still lived on afterwards, but saw slow decreases in popularity. The skater scene burst, as did the pop-punk scene, though it held on longer in the mainstream in various ways. Just because a scene bursts, it doesn't mean it completely dies. The scene just lost the mainstream support it once had, as their followers moved on to other things or a multitude of other reasons. As pop-punk faded, its gap was filled by the emo and indie wave bands, ones like My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, and Panic at the Disco, among many others. The bands took influence from the other alt-rock genres of the time and themselves brought a huge wave of popularity to many of them, growing their own fan bases, some out of the previous pop-punk bases. Alt-rock continued its heavy presence throughout the 2000s before shifting in a new direction in the following decade. Music will always have its trends and waves where a genre will grow and then fall apart. It's all a part of the development of music as a whole. But for a time, pop-punk seemed to rule the airwaves of alt-rock radio, and we got many great, sometimes timeless hits out of that time, ones we can still enjoy to this day. I do believe this just about wraps us up, and with that, it also brings us to the end of this year's Little Throwback September. I do want to thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Perhaps you learned something. Trying out some new things with the writing this video, you may notice. Should I perhaps try writing more like this in the future? Do let me know what you thought of the video itself in the comments below. I have been your host Natty, and this was Nat Reviews. Farewell and good night.